We have been taught a flawed concept of winning. The secret to true victory is not found in pushing harder, asserting our will, or dominating others, but in the counterintuitive, almost magical power of yielding. In a world that screams never back down, ancient wisdom offers our true formula for liberation. To become full, we must first be empty. To become straight, we must first be crooked. This is not a weakness, but the highest form of strategic intelligence. We will now apply these ancient writings to get ourselves out of the mess of enslavement and inequality, adding our perspective to the vital efforts already working for the betterment of humanity. Chapter 22, Lao Tzu tells us, yield and become whole, bend and become straight, be low and become filled, wear out and become new, have little and gain much, have much and become confused. Therefore, the sage embraces the one and becomes a model for the world. He does not show himself and so is conspicuous. He does not consider himself right and so is illustrious. He does not boast and so is given credit. He does not boast and so endures. It is precisely because he does not compete that no one in the world can compete with him. How could an ancient saying, yield and overcome, be empty words? Truly become whole and return to it. Now this chapter is a masterclass in strategic yielding. Lao Tzu presents a series of paradoxes that flip our conventional understanding of strength on its head. Yield and become whole. When you stop resisting and yield to a force, you absorb it. You understand it, and you remain intact. Think of the martial artist who uses an opponent's momentum against them, or the flexible bamboo that survives a storm that breaks the rigid oak. Yielding is not about losing, it's about conserving energy and finding a smarter path to wholeness. Be low and become filled. This is the principle of the valley. Low-lying ground naturally receives all the water that flows from the hills. When you humble yourself, when you empty your cup of preconceived notions, you become receptive to new knowledge, new opportunities, and true abundance. Conversely, have much and become confused. A cup that is already full cannot receive more. A mind that is cluttered with certainty has no space for wisdom. The ultimate conclusion is the most powerful. It is precisely because he does not compete that no one in the world can compete with him. When you step outside the arena of ego-driven competition, you become unbeatable. Why? Because no one can drag you into a fight you refuse to join. Your power is no longer derived from defeating others, but from an unshakable internal wholeness. You win by redefining the entire game. This profound wisdom of strategic non-competition is a universal thread in a fabric of ancient truth. The Toltecs have the concept of malinali, the twisted grass, which embodies this perfectly. Malinali represents flexibility, humility, and the resilience to bend without breaking. A Toltec warrior practices not doing, hacer sin hacer, acting without forceful effort, yielding to the flow of events to achieve a more harmonious outcome, which like water flowing around the rock. In Buddhism, the practice of non-attachment is the path to this victory. The root of suffering is craving and aversion. The desire to push and pull at the world by letting go of attachment to outcomes, to being right, and to winning, one achieves a state of peace that is the ultimate victory over suffering. The Buddha himself overcame Mara, the tempter, not through battle, but through unwavering, yielding stillness. In Stoicism, the dichotomy of control is the operating manual for this principle. The Stoic sage only competes with themselves. They focus entirely on their own judgments and actions, which they can control, and yield gracefully to external events, which they cannot control. By yielding to the natural order of the cosmos, they achieve a tranquility that no external force can disrupt. They win the inner game, which is the only one that truly matters. In Vedic wisdom, the concept of dharma is about aligning with one's sacred duty and the cosmic order. Acting in accordance with your dharma may sometimes require yielding, stepping back, or accepting a lower position, not as defeat, but as the most powerful and correct action for the harmony of the whole. It is the ultimate victory of right action over egoic ambition. This ancient art of yielding is our most potent weapon against the modern machine of oppression run by corporations, governments, and organized religions. This system is built on a foundation of manufactured conflict, designed to pit us against our neighbors, our co-workers, and even our own self-worth. It tells us we must compete, consume, and conquer to be worthy, running on the fuel of our insecurity and our need to win. This is the critical difference between their competition-based framework and our cooperation-based one. Competition as modeled by their system is a subtractive game. It operates on a presumption of scarcity. For one of us to win, another must lose. For one corporation to succeed, our community business must fail. This creates our world of constant tension, guardedness, and wasted energy spent on defending against each other. Cooperation, however, is our practical application of yielding and overcoming. It is an additive game that operates on our logic of generate abundance. When we yield our rigid positions to listen to each other, we create better ideas that none of us had alone. When our communities cooperate by sharing resources through tool libraries, community gardens, skill sharing networks, we create a web of resilience that makes everyone richer without a single loser. Cooperation channels our collective excellence toward a shared victory, which is the only kind that is truly sustainable and fulfilling for us all. This knowledge is suppressed because a community that operates on cooperation becomes ungovernable and unexploitable. Our cooperative groups cannot be easily divided and conquered by their political rhetoric. As individuals who find fulfillment in collaborative success, we become terrible consumers, immune to the advertising that preys on the need to be better than our neighbors. When we let go of the need for their external validation, we become immune to the fear-based tactics of their manipulative leaders. Our application is a quiet revolution in daily life. In our conflicts, the next time we are in a heated discussion, let's practice yielding. We can say, "You might be right, help me understand." This cooperative move to de-escalate the situation and leads to mutually beneficial solutions, overcoming the problem by transcending the fight. In our ambition, instead of forcing our way through their aggressive competition, we focus on being genuinely useful, mastering our craft, and lifting up our colleagues. This cooperative approach, being low to become filled, builds the authentic influence that their job titles can never confer. In our communities, we build networks based on mutual aid rather than competitive striving. A time bank where everyone yields a little time to help others is our living example of have little and gain much. It creates our own self-sustaining system of shared abundance that operates outside their extractive economy. The universe itself wins through yielding. Water, the softest thing, overcomes the hardest rock through a persistent, gentle flow. Our greatest strength lies not in what we can force, but in what we are willing to release together. When we stop competing on their terms, we find we have already won our freedom.